So welcome to today's video. We're going to do some stroke practice. Last time we tried to run some balls, we had issues with the elbow coming out slightly and the stick was offline. So today I'm going to start just doing a long shot from one side of the table to the other, and I want to have my cue come through straight, and the cue ball should come back straight to the tip of the stick. If it does and my cue is straight out in front of me, then I've hit a proper shot. If the cue goes to the left, I've either aimed to the left or I've got some English imparted on the ball, or both. So you can see I am going left, and it looks like I'm steering my stick a little bit left. So I'm going to start steering my stick, or not steering it, and letting it just go straight, so that way it doesn't go to the left. Go, that's a better shot. Still a little bit off, not perfect, but this is practice. It's not supposed to be perfect. You're trying to uncover your flaws and then correct them so they become your strengths. So now we corrected too much. We went to the right. Now I'm going to come back to the middle. Making sure I'm on the vertical axis of the cue ball is critical here. You don't want any side spin on this ball. And I'm just hitting. You can do center ball, touch above center. If you do low, the shot becomes more difficult. Okay, so we got that ball coming back. We'll probably do one more here, and then we'll go on to the next exercise to reinforce putting that cue straight out in front of me. And really, the more you try to do it, the more you can't do it. You really have to know that you're in line and let the cue go. Knowing you're in line is a powerful thing, and once you get there, you can let the cue just come out in front of you. You don't have to impart any swerving of the elbow or left and right with the wrist action. So I've got a straight shot set up, and I'm trying to let it go, and I move my stick to the left to exaggerate at the end to show which way my stick went, and the shot was missed. So I've got to correct what I see, and I've got to correct my alignment. My alignment looks pretty good. Now I've got to trust what I see and come through and stop, and the cue ball moved a little bit to the right, so I'm still getting a little bit action on the cue stick that I don't want. It's not coming straight through. So I'm going to hit the rest of these balls and really try and focus on the front of that cue where it lands. Leave it on the table, and I want the cue ball to stop right behind the object ball. I don't want it to move forward. I don't want it to move backwards. I want a stop shot. And this is a powerful drill because it makes you stay still. You have to be calm. You've got to be able to analyze your cue afterwards instead of just throwing away the shot. You're going to take a look at that cue for 1 or 2 seconds after the shot, and this helps you to stay down on every shot. And you'll see the more I do this today, the better the shot gets. I'm going to tighten it up after I do all 15 of these balls and make it even harder, and then even harder again. And you'll see the stroke gets much more crisp and much more accurate as we continue. Now you see back there I'm twisting my wrist a little bit. I've always had a long follow through. If I don't curl that wrist under a little bit, I'll tend to throw the elbow out. So I like to have room for my wrist to come through. I don't necessarily come straight up to my chest. Now you notice I'm stopping the cue there. I'm really exaggerating the grip as I let it go through. This is good for slow to medium shots. But if I have to really accelerate that cue stick through the cue ball, it's going to be a problem. I need to be able to push the cue ball through, the cue stick through the cue ball more than I'm doing here. And there I went a little bit left again, pushed my arm out to the right, cue stick went left, and I'm able to see that. And once you can see it, you can correct it. If you can't see it and you're constantly jumping up from the shot or moving away from what the intended target is, you can't decide what went wrong, and you can't make any corrections. Okay, we're on the 10th ball. We've only missed one. We've had a couple, I would say, are failed shots just because they go in the pocket. It doesn't mean it's a successful shot, because what you're trying to do here is have no movement of the cue ball, of the cue stick. Cue stick comes straight through, and you don't want the cue ball to deviate off the path other than a stop shot. And the reason that's important is my pockets obviously will hold a little over 2 balls, being 4 3/4 pockets. But if you take a shot and you can't stop it, the cue ball behind the object ball, then what happens when I follow it? What happens when I draw it? If I'm off a half an inch with that cue ball, if I go forward 2 feet, I'm going to be off by 3 to 4 inches. Now exaggerated even more to 4 to 6 feet, and you've got a shot that went way offline. So it makes it so you can't trust where your cue ball is going to go. You'll miss position. You can't duplicate it. That's the biggest issue. You're all over the place on the table because you're not striking the cue ball where you intended to, and your cue stick is moving and imparting unwanted English, and the results will not be in your favor. So there again, move the arm out to the right. So it tends to appear. Right now, if I don't really focus, concentrate on a smooth, relaxed stroke where my wrist doesn't grab the cue and my shoulder doesn't push out, then it will show up and rear its ugly head, usually during critical shots when I don't want it to. So I'm trying to get rid of that. That's the purpose of this exercise. Alright, so we've done 15 balls there and got pretty good results. Now I'm going to tighten it up a little. I'm also going to give myself an advantage to help visualize the center, the vertical center of the cue ball and the vertical center of the object ball. Putting the 2 balls, they're about maybe 3/16 away from the shot line. They have enough room to allow the cue ball through, but nothing else. And you'll see the cue ball on this exercise really starts to tighten up because you cannot hit the 2 ball into any other part of the pocket other than straight in. So this removes the ability to cheat the shot and hit the 2 ball anywhere other than straight. So there's a miss. And misses are going to occur in pool. It's a mental game. There's physical movement. You need calmness and stillness. And it's difficult to be perfect. It's difficult to be in that calm, relaxed state. But the more you get your cue stick in line with the shot, the easier that becomes. When you're guessing as to what line your cue stick's on, you're going to always battle with mental fatigue, with shot making, position play, and it wears you down. There, the stick went the other way that time. I pulled it in. And these are subtle little movements. They don't have to be drastic, but it unfortunately makes a difference. So just a tiny bit of cue ball movement to the right. We don't want any movement. So again, I'm tightening up, bringing that wrist underneath the cue ball, so I have more room to bring it through without pushing it. And there we go, much better result, and I stayed much more still, and I was much more calm on the delivery. My vertical line through my eye, through my top of my right shoulder, and my bridge position looked very good. It's that inability to pull back, and I don't want a full pause. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the concept of set, pause, finish, freeze. I mean, on paper that makes sense. You're set in a position, you pause, you finish your stroke and stop, and then you freeze at the end. You pull back and stop, and then push through and freeze at the end. I mean, it makes sense on paper for analyzing, but in the real world for me, if I've got to pull my cue back and I've got to concentrate on stopping it and pausing it, I've got to use muscles to stop it, and then I've got to use muscles to accelerate it. I like a more fluid stroke. That's how I was trained, and that feels best to me. So while I don't want to jerk back, I'll just come back and have a 16th second pause. But notice what happened there. The elbow went a little bit out. So that type of stroke that doesn't have a pronounced stop at the backswing can have issues. I mean, the other stroke, set, pause, finish, freeze, can have issues as well. But I've been fighting this for quite some time, so the only way to get it tuned back in is to do these drills and then get confident that I'm straight, and then I can release my cue without imparting any type of lateral movement. Finished here, I'm going to tighten up the 15 and 14 ball even to within 1/8 of an inch, so there's no room for error, and you'll see that my stroke even gets more crisp and delivers better than when I have a 1/4 inch on either side. So I'm looking through, making sure I'm straight. 2 balls are easy to see straight. 2 balls are a little bit difficult to see what straight is, but if you put a 3rd ball in the middle, you can definitely see if one of the 3 balls are out of line. So I'll use that 3rd ball to make sure that there's an absolute straight line between the cue ball, the center ball, and the 1 ball. I think I hit the 15 ball here at the end, trying to take the 2 ball away, and that's okay. It's good practice to use one eye and look down these balls and learn to see straight, so I don't mind doing it again. These drills are for yourself, to get yourself better. A lot of people don't like to practice. They don't like to go through this detail of a drill, but it does help. It helps your focus. It helps you to analyze and become a better player. And I'm looking to run 100 balls, so I've got to eliminate the flaws that are stopping me from running the 100 balls. So I'm coming into the shot with my right foot is on the vertical line of the shot, and then I bring my elbow, my right elbow, down over the shot line. Now that ball was so close that I hit that ball by a 1/16 of an inch and missed the shot. So now I've got to set it up again, making sure the balls are in line, and try to correct what went wrong with my visualization of the shot, that I missed the shot by a 1/16 of an inch. And that's all it takes. And if you're trying to shoot a critical shot and you only have a 1/16 of an inch to pass through to the pocket, then this type of shot is important. It's important to be able to see it and execute it. Looked like my cue came off a little bit to the right. Cue ball went to the left, so not a good shot. That was perfect. I would have liked if I stayed down even more. I don't want to get up abruptly. I want time to analyze that cue and breathe. Just take a half a breath just to calm yourself and stay calm while you're down. So I've hit 2 racks of balls now. I'm in stroke. I'm feeling good, so I'm able to hit the ball, I think, pretty nice these next couple things. There's a little bit of movement. I noticed my stick, I pulled in, cue ball went off to the left. So you get instantaneous feedback. Again, I always overemphasize the movement that caused me to not have a perfect shot. So what do? You're noticing that the cue ball's not stopping straight. You have to analyze which way the stick moved, and then analyze, is your shoulder over the shot line? Are you steering the cue as you come through? See how my cue is directly straight over the hole protector that the cue ball's sitting in, and that is a great sign that you let the cue stick go and you didn't impart any lateral movement. That's what you're looking for. The tighter your grip on the cue, the harder this exercise will be. So I'm always reminding myself to keep a loose grip. The bridge hand can be tight. The backhand should be comfortable but not tight, not squeezing the cue. These are good strokes coming up here. They're not too strong. The speed is good. The delivery looks good. So I hope this was helpful. In the next practices, I'm going to do this again, but I'm also going to amp it up by trying to draw the cue ball back and go forward while staying in this same straight line. It gets a lot more difficult when you've got to deliver the cue with greater speed. Have a good day.